Welcome to the Super Sentai Brothers. This is episode 21 of A View to a Kakuranger, the internet's best and only podcast dedicated to Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. Every week we watch an episode of the show, we share our thoughts with you, the listeners. My name is Matt J. With me as always is my co-host and brother Dave. Dave, how are you doing today?
I'm alright. I'm a little fuzzy. A friend of mine came over yesterday to hang out. And I thought it was going to be just, for like a little while. And then that dude left my house at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. And he's older than I am. He's 42. I'm 34. And I'm like, why am I up at 3:30 in the morning? I don't do this. See, he's got an advantage because he's got little kids. So he's just up at all hours anyways. So
sure,
I don't think he cares.
Sleeping.
Right. I'm like, it's like 3:30, man. I got to go to bed. But no, it was fun. Had a good time. Now I'm having a good time with you, Matt.
Nice. I think that if someone is at your house and you look at the clock and you realize that it's after like closing time at the bar, you are allowed to just kick them out at that point. Like closing time is not just for the bar. Closing time is for everyone. You also get to use that.
Let's put that out into the world. Guys, let's make this a rule of etiquette. Like, wherever, that might not work as well, like if you live in New York or something, where the closing time for bars is like never, I'm not sure. But yeah.
No, I think it's like 3 or 4.
Even that is very late.
It's a
to
bit
have
much.
guests. It is very, okay, wait, let me rephrase that. It's very late to have awake guests.
Oh yeah, like if someone is in your house at 4 a.m., that's fine. Just don't expect to be talking.
Right. So, we're in kind of a weird spot today, Matt, because we just don't have stars, guys. Like, we thought about it.
We did. We talked about it. We went back and forth. Dave's been busy with the show. I could tell you what I did this week. I watched YouTube videos about how to best care for an umbrella plant, because mine is not doing super well. And then I realized that I was just sitting around watching YouTube videos of how to best care for a plant, and I realized that I needed to do something else with my life. So that was like the highlight of my week. So instead of the stars, what we are going to do is we are going to actually start in on doing some Creature Royale for the Jetman episodes.
Oh wait, yes, we are going to do that. But Matt, I'm sorry, I threw off the script. Please tell these people the name of this week's episode.
Oh yeah, okay. So this week's episode 21 of Ninja Sentai Kakuranger, is called, and this is not a lie, Monkey See, Monkey Does Finishing Move.
It's the greatest Sentai title. I think it's the best one ever. I've never heard of a better, I don't remember any better ones. And I've been super excited to watch this episode because it keeps coming up, like when I open the DVDs and looking at the list of titles. I laugh out loud every time I see it, and I've been waiting to watch it. So I'm very excited to see this episode.
I'm also very excited. What I'm wondering is the monkey in question Sasuke and Red Saruder, or is there another monkey in the mix?
I feel like it's probably going to be Red Saruder, but we'll see.
In any case, I am into it. So, it has been quite a while since we've done any Creature Royale content. Any retrospective Creature Royale content. And we've really been meaning to get into the Jetman monsters. So we're going to start with that today, hitting, we're going to go for a bit until we sort of realize that we've gone too far, and then we will stop and listen to today's episode.
Yeah, that's pretty much our, we just go until we realize that we've gone too far.
So, apologies to anyone who only listens to this show for the stars, which I think is just our mother. So, sorry, Mom, but,
Sorry.
I hung out with you last night. You know what I'm up to. So, Dave, what is our first monster of the week?
So, the first monster of the week, it is. That was just an odd way to say that in my head.
Okay, this week, as we are talking about this
our first monster is, right. Right, no. I got you. It just... Anyways. So the first monster is Jet Fighter Dimension. If you don't remember, this is the very first monster. We're just going through these guys in chronological order through Jetman. Jet Fighter is... There's actually not a whole lot to say. It's a jet that comes to life, and it's a monster. Like...
Yeah. Okay. Although actually, Dave, why don't we take this opportunity to, in case somebody hasn't seen Jetman or like skipped the first couple episodes and doesn't know what the jam with those monsters is, could you describe to me how those monsters are created?
Oh, yeah. So how it works is that the bad guys in Jetman are the Vyram, and they're from another dimension. And like, this is their whole thing. They're like dimensional raiders, and their monster like generation technique is that they have these bugs. It's very weird, but they have these bugs, and they attach them to just like objects, and in so doing, like, infuse that object with life and like with monstrous life. So like, you attach the bug to a jet plane, and it turns into Jet Fighter Dimension. You attach it to a traffic light, it becomes Traffic Light Dimension. Like, whatever it is, you just like throw it on something, and that thing turns into a monster.
Right. Oh, Dave, gosh, I'm sorry. Our first monster isn't Jet Fighter. That's my fault. I gave you the list, and I forgot the actual first monster from Jetman. The actual first monster from Jetman was the spectacular character find of 2015 or 2016 or whatever. It's Energy Butt. I do not remember Energy Butt's actual name.
Yeah, neither do I. And Energy Butt is what, like, did we decide was like the source of these bugs? Is that right?
Yeah, so what it was doing in the first episode or so is it was running around and like absorbing energy from things. And like, as it was it was a giant bug, and it would like attack people and turn them into energy and then absorb that energy. And as he did that, or she, I do not know the gender of Energy Butt. It's like bug butt. What's that? A thorax, an abdomen, thorax. Thorax, right? Listen, it's been a long time since I've had to remember what a thorax was.
I'm not an entomologist. I'm not going to get too technical here.
Anyway, so its bug butt glowed with energy and got very big. And then I think eventually what happened is that was the later source of the dimensional bugs. That was always my impression. I don't know if that was ever confirmed or if I just sort of headcanoned it. But so do we want to put Energy Butt on the list? And where does he go, or she?
Okay, I think yes, absolutely. Energy Butt is the amazing character find of 2015? 2015, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, because we would have started that show in 2015. Wow, we've been doing this for longer than I remember sometimes.
I know, right? So, yes, absolutely. Energy Butt has to go on the list. I love Energy Butt. Amazing character find of 2015. Also, just like a really interesting kickoff, I think, to the whole idea of like, this is how these monsters operate, and like, this is what they do. Is that they like, it's all from like this one sort of like monster is kind of neat.
Right. So in that instance, like, if you think about Energy Butt that way, then Energy Butt is a very significant character that like powers all the rest of the monsters throughout the entire show. On the other hand, if you think of it like practically, like Energy Butt is, as much as I love Energy Butt, fantastic character find 2015. Energy Butt was kind of a big nothing, Like it didn't appear
as far
again.
As like an actual, you're right.
Like there was no character to Energy Butt in the way that there were to some of the dimensional beasts.
All right, so I'm saying like bottom third, maybe bottom quarter actually, as I think about it, because I'm like looking at a bunch of monsters and I'm like, well, Energy Butt is not as cool as like the Cat Lady.
Okay,
not
here's
as
one
cool
that I think
as.
Here's one that I think is roughly equivalent. How do you think that Energy Butt compares to Thunder from Die Ranger?
Ooh.
Because neither of them have much of a character, but they both have like a good look and an important function in the show. But they're just kind of like, a generic monster that does a thing to push the story along.
Yeah, I think actually Energy Butt is cooler than Thunder. And actually, I think just above Thunder, because I'm thinking about Azukirai, the bean washer, and Azukirai A has like a crazy look and like a whole thing going on. So I would say Energy Butt one spot above Thunder.
Yeah, Zukirai had like that whole underground like dungeon secret passage to get even like to his office.
Yeah. Okay, so Energy Butt on the list. Jet Fighter Dimension.
Jet Fighter Dimension
I feel like we're gonna run into like a lot of like low ranking slots on a lot of these early Jetman dimensional beasts. Just because like Jet Fighter Dimension he's like a jet machine he's a jet plane monster.
Right. Well, the one thing that I do like about Jet Fighter Dimension is that he is a literal Jetman in a show called Jetman.
Okay, that's strong.
But yeah, Jet Fighter Dimension is really practically just like a proof of concept monster. It's like, okay, we put a bug on a thing. In this case, they put it on the Chief's airplane, and it turned into a monster, and she had to jump out. And then, like, that plane grew arms, sort of like if you were playing with an old, like, Starscream toy, and you, like, half untransformed it. Like, that is kind of what it looked like. But, like, you weren't very good at Transformers and couldn't quite figure out, like, how to get it figured out.
So Jetman, just on the strength of that joke, I think is pretty good. Let's see.
But still, I wouldn't put him above any of the monsters that actually have, like, a defined character. You know?
Yeah, okay. So Sergeant Cannon. Okay, so we're, like, actually pretty low on the list here. Sergeant Cannon, better or worse?
Honestly, Dave, just because this guy's a whole lot of nothing. Okay, who are our characters who are actively bad?
General Cactus is the worst.
Okay, General
He's
Cactus
awful.
is the worst.
And then after that, Father Magnet
that loses because somebody uses magnets against him. So
yeah, and then Cherry Blossom Viscount
is completely unmemorable.
Despite having, when we check that out again, like a pretty fantastic look. And then just above that is Funeral Figurine Ventriloquist. Like, I'm pretty all right actually with Jet Fighter Dimension near the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I mean he's not actively bad, but there's nothing to him. So why don't we put him maybe between Cherry Blossom Viscount and the Funeral Figurine Ventriloquist?
I dig it. Okay, next up. Faucet Dimension. Oh, no. Okay. Here's why Faucet Dimension is going to rank higher on this list than a couple of these other guys, is the Bleeding Faucet. Bleeding Faucet. Like, it's just like the opening for that episode is so weird. Like, so weird and so crazy. And then, like, a faucet appears out of nowhere. Like, for a very strange idea of a monster, like a faucet monster, Faucet Dimension actually has a pretty rad episode. And he has, like, heat and cold blasts because there's, like, hot and cold taps. I'm pretty into him.
Yeah, Faucet Dimension started off what we realized was going to be happening throughout a lot of Jetman, which is that when you would get a Faucet Dimension, it wasn't just like your kitchen sink came to life. They had superpowers that were sort of like thematically appropriate and a lot broader than you would expect, which is something we're actually going to get in the next monster as well in a really intense way. But I really did kind of like Faucet Monster, or the Faucet Dimension.
Yeah.
Again, he wasn't great, but he could control faucets, which was weirdly effective.
Yeah.
He could make them grow out of the ground and like grab Guy's motorcycle like mid-race.
This is okay. Like, we just have to remember that despite like the seeming weirdness and like inappropriateness of any particular monster, like object to be a monster, most of these monsters ended up being like Jet Fighter Dimension is a slam dunk. Like, yes, obviously it's a weapon of war that makes a great monster. But then they're just like traffic lights and faucets, and those dudes actually do manage to do like at least more than you think they would do, given their origin as a faucet.
Right.
So let's see.
Again, I think pretty low.
I'm gonna say still not crazy high. So there's cooler than Energy, but I think cooler than Azuki Rai the Bean Washer. Not as cool as the Tengu, though.
I could go either way on that because Tengu was cool, but if you remember, like in his episode, most of the effective stuff actually came from Dr. Yagumi or
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so just above Azuki Rai, just below Tengu? No, just above Tengu.
Yeah, above Tengu, below Kanekijiji, the doll dude from Kakuranger. Not the doll dude from Dire Ranger, because that was General Cactus, and he remains at the bottom of this list. Probably forever.
Yeah, no, probably forever. That's not changing. He's awful. But Konekijiji was like super weird and crazy. Okay, Traffic Light Dimension.
Okay, so this is another great one where there's not much of a character, but the degree to which he is able to do stuff like related to traffic lights was awesome. He could like control the road itself and was like making weird earthquakes and tearing up the street just with his crazy traffic powers. And he looked so good.
Yeah, like way cooler than, again, they did some like really cool design work with a lot of these Jetman monsters. So he's got like a cool look. He's actually pretty effective. Let's see. I think I'm going up here, man. Cooler, I think, than Kappa and Rokurokubi, but not as cool as Bakaneko. As I'm sort of, yeah,
I'll go with that. Because
as I go above the list, not as cool as Kanagama, not as cool as the Slot Machine, not as cool as Copy Empress, not as cool as the Jewelry Priestesses, and then we're starting to get into like Pachinko Master, Lieutenant Shiryu, Shiraniri, Oborogumara. Like we're getting into cool monsters. So yeah.
Okay, I can dig that.
Okay, Matt. This is. I'll admit I've been a little bit rushing through this list because I wanted to get to this guy in particular.
Mm-hmm. Who's up next then?
It's actually one of my all-time favorite Jetman monsters, Matt. It's Apartment Building Dimension.
Oh, dude, Apartment Building Dimension. Okay, Dave, why don't you remind the listeners about all of the awesome stuff about Apartment Building Dimension?
Oh my gosh, I gotta think about it. So, first of all, they attach the dimensional. What are they called again, Matt? The dimensional bugs.
Yeah, they're the dimensional bugs.
Was it just dimensional bugs? Okay, guys, they just attached the dimensional bug to an entire apartment complex, and like the whole thing becomes a giant monster. It doesn't even have to grow giant because it's already giant. It has like a ball and chain that's made out of something, and it's got like. Really what it is like the apartment complex looks like it's sort of like sitting on the shoulders of another thing. But just like the sheer insanity of turning an entire apartment complex into a monster.
What was really great about this monster is that as you say, in the end of the episode, like the apartment building stands up and then they have to fight it. And was that the first time that they formed Jet Icarus?
Yeah, actually, I think it is.
Might have been. I know they had prior to that formed like the Jet Hawken, but that might be the first episode where they formed Jet Icarus.
Yeah, I think it is. And then like they're fighting. The Jetmen are fighting inside Apartment Dimension before it sort of like
part about it
comes to life.
Yeah, it's like all of the different rooms in it are like interior of this building have gone crazy. And there are like mouths on the walls that are like sucking people into like other secret rooms and stuff.
And like the walls are bleeding and stuff. Like it's just, it's a really like it's such a cool episode, and it comes out of the gate so strong. It's like he's up there for me, man.
Yeah, like what if a haunted house was an entire apartment complex, and then that thing stood up and had to fight a giant robot? Like that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, I think he is about as high as you can get on my list before we're starting to get into monsters that have like actual like real intense like stories and like So
you're looking around to like the Shootin' Doji Brothers, somewhere around there?
yeah, definitely. Like I like him better than Iron Mask Choryu. I like him better than Lipstick Songstress. I think I like him better than. Ooh, I think I might like him better than Key Clown.
I don't like him better than Key Clown. I don't even like him
so
better
you
than
don't like him
Kabuki
better than.
Boy.
All right, so better than Heatwave Hood, cooler than Heatwave Hood. It's an apartment building that comes to life and fights superheroes.
It's really good. It's very, very good. It is. I am willing to accept above Heatwave Hood, below Kabuki Boy. That might be a little higher than I would put it, but I know you love this guy.
Okay, I'm gonna go below Heatwave Hood because Heatwave Hood, like that episode with Daigo, is just like it's so good. It's such a good episode.
Although I will say, this episode has one of the first moments, the episode with apartment building dimension, where a guy is trapped inside apartment building dimension.
Oh,
and
that's right.
Ryu has to like jump into the building to fight Radiguet to save Guy. And this is in like the early parts of the show when Ryu and Guy did not get along at all. And so
Okay,
this
was
was
so
the first
I'm going to say
time
better
Radiguet
than
turned into his weird bat form. Although I can't give apartment building dimension credit for that. That's a Radiguet thing.
Yeah, but like as a monster, as an episode, it is a really cool thing. So apartment building dimension just above Heatwave Hood, just below Kabuki Boy.
Number 12. That is he is coming out strong, and that is not my favorite monster from Jetman.
It's not, and it's just such an insane thing. But Matt, you want to watch some Super Sentai?
Oh yeah, we've been talking about it, and I've been remembering how much I like watching Super Sentai. So let's go do it. Let's go watch episode 21 of Ninja Sentai Kakuranger. Monkey See, Monkey Does Finishing Move. Okay, welcome back. So we have just finished watching episode 21, and I was wrong. I was wrong about the monkey. I thought it was going to be Sasuke, and it was a separate monkey altogether.
And not even like a Sasuke focused episode.
Not like, even this is a little bit.
This is a Saizo episode, which is very, I don't know, it was weird. Anyways.
Although Sasuke did make one crucial change this week, and I really want to talk about it.
Thank goodness. Finally.
Well, let's...
We'll get there. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. This episode begins...
We got to build tension.
Do we? Is that a thing that this show requires? Or anyone requires in the world right now? Anyways...
Nope, Dave, that is a very good point. Instead, let us reduce tension. Sasuke changes the color of his clothing this week.
Yeah, thank goodness. He's red. And nothing else changes. It's literally like a palette swap.
It's as though someone was like watching the episode. It was like, wait a second. Hey, Sasuke. Hey, actor who plays Sasuke, could you get over here? Hey, which closet have you been grabbing your clothes from? Oh, the blue one. Oh, no. No, that's the wrong closet for you, bud. There's a separate closet just for you.
So he is, okay, sorry. It's only a slight, the shirt is like the same pattern, but it's red now. And his bandana is no longer like a sweatband style. It's like I don't know, like it's like a cap style. I don't know like the way to say it, but like it covers more of his head, but it only covers like the back half of his head, so he can get like some hair out in front of it. And I swear to you, it is being held on with a bobby pin. Like that is not like it's a yarmulke almost. It's very weird.
Anyway, it's a lot less confusing at any rate, and I was thrilled to pieces.
Okay, so this episode begins at it looks like a temple at first, but it's not. It turns out that it's a dojo, and there are some kids in soccer gear, and they're like running up these steps, and then they go around behind it, and there's a dad and his daughter, and they are both in like traditional ninja clothes. Okay. Yeah. And they're like laughing at the kid. The kids are like laughing at the dad, or like, oh, this is so dumb. You know, you're like playing ninjas, but you're not really ninjas. And
like, why don't you disappear? Don't you know how? And then they start chanting phony ninja, like they're accusing him of being a fake ninja girl.
Yeah. Which, like, dude, first of all, kids, that is like a grown man. And second of all, man, if I saw somebody in a ninja costume, like in ninja gear, that was not like very definitely, like I was at like a comic book convention or something, or like a LARP event. There's just somebody in ninja gear and that dude has like a wooden sword. I feel like what I would not be doing is making fun of that dude. He might not be a ninja, but I don't know.
Especially when they live in a world where they probably know that there are at least 5 superhero ninjas roaming the countryside.
Right. So Saizo jumps out of nowhere and he starts like squirting the kids with like water from his hands. And is like, don't make fun of ninjas, I think is what he said. It's something like this. And the kids are like, oh, it's wet and cold. And then they run away. And then Saizo reveals that he just had like a little like hand squirter. Like he wasn't magically summoning forth water is the point. He has like a little like ninja squirter thing.
Right. I genuinely thought he was like low-key just doing ninja magic on these kids.
No, that's what I assumed as well. Because it's like he's the blue ninja. So he does like water stuff. And I thought it was actually really cool. They were like, oh no, it's just a little thing. So the next scene, we are in this dude's dojo. Because we find out that this guy is a ninja sensei. Like, he is a teacher of ninjutsu, and he is the 25th generation inheritor of, what's the Kasumi style ninjutsu. Like, this is his thing, right?
Right, and he goes into what is, like, the most complete sad, like, sob story in the world. So, he opened this dojo a while ago, but he has had no students at all. The dojo is doing so badly that the stress of its failure has caused his wife to have a heart attack and fall ill. They don't have any money because the dojo is failing, and so they can't send her to a good hospital. So instead, their young daughter is being forced to care for his ill wife. And the strain of that is tearing apart their relationship. They both want him to quit ninjutsu, but it's the only, he's dedicated his whole life to it, and it's the only thing he has to hold on to in this fallen world is his love and dedication to the art of ninjutsu.
This dude is literally, he is on his knees, grasping Saizo's hand. And he's like, Saizo, you've got to help me. Please, you can help me save my dojo. I do want to point out, these dudes met each other, literally 30 seconds ago. It is very, at first, I thought it's okay, well, clearly this is a dude that Saizo already knows. He does not. This is a brand new relationship that Saizo is, and Saizo is, in tears, is immediately completely invested in, this dude and his dojo. Okay.
And on one hand, I applaud that because, Saizo cares about his fellow man and specifically his fellow ninja. He sees a ninja in trouble. He wants to help him. They are they are connected. They are bros.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
Yes, Dave. They are a family. So the next thing that we see is that Saizo has not only dedicated himself to helping turn this dojo around, he has enlisted all of the other Kakurangers, and they are outside by Nekomaru, in the square. They have signs up and a megaphone, and they're just shouting and handing out flyers, trying to convince people to come to this ninjutsu dojo.
It's the least ninja thing they've ever done. So first of all, I want to say, I actually had to stop. I type my notes, so I go pretty quickly. I had to stop and pause because there's so much happening in this scene. First thing, everybody else is just in regular clothes. The guy, they give us his name later. What's his name?
Honestly,
Daigoro.
I didn't write it down.
It's Daigoro. So Daigoro, who is the ninjutsu sensei, everybody else is just in clothes. Like I said, Daigoro still in ninja gear. This dude only has one set of clothes, and it is ninja clothes. He's completely dedicated. It's all he has.
He's dedicated his life to the art of ninjutsu, Dave.
Yeah. So, and people are just walking. This is just on a street corner, and they are just walking by, and the Kakurangers are yelling about ninjutsu. Tsuruhime has a megaphone. Saizo starts singing a little song about ninjutsu, happy ninjutsu, joyful ninjutsu. He's doing a little dance.
There's this great moment where Sasuke says, listen, ninjutsu is international. Like, we even have English conversation here at the dojo. And it goes over to Jiraiya, and Jiraiya in English is saying, like, yes, hi, I am Jiraiya. I will teach you all English if you come to the dojo.
Yeah, so they go, the soccer kids are still there. Like, they have followed them, I think, for the express purpose of making fun of them. And the Rangers are like, here, have this thing, like, come check out this ninja school. And the kids are like, psh, ninjutsu is lame. Which is insane. No child in the history of children has ever looked at ninjas and been just like, psh, ninjas. Like, whatever. No one's ever said that ninjas are lame. Maybe, like, 16th century Japanese warlords would have said that ninjas were lame.
Maybe.
But, like, maybe. Everybody else, like, that's it. Nobody does that. So then Saizo says, ninjutsu is good for your skin and your health. And then they all the ninjas get into, like, their ninja gear, and they start doing ninja aerobics.
Yes, which is just aerobics while dressed as ninja. Like, it is not a special thing. But
and, like,
the children
somehow,
are now fascinated. Like, now they are starting to gather a crowd.
Like, this is the thing that pulls people in, that they're just like, what? Ninja aerobics? Amazing.
Now, we cut a little bit away, and Young Noble Jr. is, like, hiding behind the corner of a building, sort of spying on all of this happening, and he's, like, grinning and laughing to himself.
Although, sorry, while they are doing ninja aerobics, I noticed how, maybe I think for the first time, kind of, like, quite how different their ninja costumes are. Like, we've seen them a bunch, but you don't often see them, like, all just kind of, like, standing in a row all in the daylight in their full ninja costumes. And they actually have some, like, cool kind of, like, personalized details for everybody's costume. But anyways.
It is cool. And by the way, this scene goes on for a long time. Like, they don't just establish the fact that ninjutsu aerobics is happening and then move on. They show the entire aerobics routine.
Yeah. It was, we got into this episode. It was like, it's like 10 minutes into the episode at this point. And, like, we have no idea what's happening. There's no monster. Nobody's been attacked. It's literally just, like, this sad ninja. And he doesn't, like, nobody wants to learn ninjutsu from him.
I wonder if this is the same, real quick, Dave, if I can interject. I wonder if this is the same aerobics routine that, do you remember, and I think I showed this to you at some point, I know they did it for a couple of years with Super Sentai, maybe they do it every year, is, like, they will put out a video of, like a
workout video.
Yeah, it's a workout video. I wonder if this is the same, like, aerobics part of the, like, Kakuranger workout video that would have come out that year.
I think we have to assume that it is. I mean, not for any, like, existential reason, just, like, how many Kakuranger aerobics routines are you going to come up with? So, the next thing that we see is that the Rangers have, like, relocated. So they've sort of, like, gathered a crowd, and they're like, okay, everybody come over here. And they're, like, in a parking lot or something, and maybe it's, like, behind the dojo. I'm not totally sure. And they are just doing ninjutsu. Like, they're demonstrating some, like, pretty high test stuff. They're, like, showing off their, like, secret cut techniques. They're, like, doing backflips. They're, like, throwing shurikens and doing, like, clothes substitutions. This is not just like, oh yeah, like, I'm a ninja. Let me, like, do some flips, and here's my sword. Like, they're really doing some stuff.
Right, yeah. They go directly from a 5-minute aerobics, like, show to let me show you all of my secret techniques. There is nothing in between.
Yeah, and now, like, they walk, and the soccer kids are still there. And they walk over there like, now do you want to learn ninjutsu? Like, now that you get how totally rad and awesome it is? And the kids are like, no, soccer is still way cooler. Again, insane. Soccer is still way cooler. I bet you can't even play soccer, you dumb ninja. And Saizo's like, all right, fine. If I can prove to you that my ninjutsu, I think, like, makes me better at soccer, then will you join this dojo and learn ninjutsu? And the kid's like, all right, sure, fine, you weird old man.
Right. Is it never, like, going to happen?
What do you got?
Show me your stupid ninja soccer.
Okay. And then they do, it's Kakuranger Ball, I hate Kakuranger Ball.
We haven't seen
it's basically Shaolin soccer.
Yeah, we haven't seen it in a little while, but if you don't remember it, yeah, Dave, that is exactly it. It's Shaolin soccer.
Yeah, they're just like using their ninja techniques to be super good at soccer. And so they like kick the ball and it like explodes this statue, which actually looked like a very nice statue, but nobody seems to care.
Yeah, everyone is way more into like them being good at soccer and not at all into the destruction of a very old statue.
So when they finally show this, the soccer kids are like, all right, yes, that was pretty amazing. Actually, like we will come learn ninjutsu. And everybody's just like, yeah, we'll all learn ninjutsu. This is great. And then the little girl runs over and like calls her mother, and the mom like comes to the window and is smiling and like, hooray, the Rangers have saved the dojo.
So we cut to the Rangers and they're walking through this field and saying like, I'm so glad we were able to help. Now let's get back to Nekomaru, get to the next town. You know, like they want to pull a like littlest hobo / like the Hulk. Like they're done with this town. They want to move on to the next town. But they are stopped because now the actual like weird yokai stuff of the episode starts.
Yes.
Well, actually, as it turns out, the weird yokai stuff has been happening, but now the Rangers are starting to engage with it.
So what we see is up in this tree, it's a bunch of Dorodoros and this awesome monkey monster.
Dude, this
and
monkey monster is the best looking dude.
Okay, so his name is Sairugami, and we find out that his deal is that he kidnaps ladies and then wears their clothes. But like all of their clothes. Like he's just mixing and matching. It's really like a layered look that he has going on. He's wearing I think like sunglasses and like a big hat and then a couple of strings of pearls. He's got like epaulets, I think.
Oh, with, you know he's got epaulets.
Yeah. He's got a lot going on. And he attacks. He's just like, all right, Ranger's like, I'm going to kill you. Then the Ranger's like, let's see it, Henge. And then a Dorodoro, this is where thing gets weird, Dorodoro does full moon cut. And then all the other Dorodoros use the secret cut techniques that the Rangers had previously demonstrated. All right? So now, like, this is in all caps in my notes because I only now did I get it. Like, oh, monkey see, monkey do. He's copying their finishing moves. Like, that's why the...
So then they think, okay, well, obviously the cuts aren't going to work on these guys, but we've just demonstrated the fact that we know a different finishing move. Let's do Kakuranger Ball. So they start to do Kakuranger Ball, and then one of the Dorodoros just jumps in the middle of it and grabs the ball away from them, and then Sarugami and the Dorodoros line up, and they start doing Kakuranger Ball.
And then the Rangers have, like, no defense against it.
Like, you know...
Which is amazing. Like,
yeah.
I love the idea they do not have a defense against their own technique. Because, like, why would you bother? Nobody else knows how to do Kakuranger Ball, so we need to know how to defend against it. Because we're never going to get hit with it. Right.
It's like, do you remember that bit in D2, The Mighty Ducks Return?
Oh, jeez.
When the Mighty Ducks start doing the flying V, like, formation to get down the ice rink. Not the ice rink. It's not called an ice rink in a hockey game, is it? The hockey rink.
I mean, I think it's the hockey rink, but it is still an ice rink.
Sure.
Like...
So they do. I assume that many or most of you have seen a Mighty Ducks movie, but they've got this thing where like they all skate in this like V formation and like pass the puck between them all. And in the first Mighty Ducks movie, like that, like it's unstoppable. You cannot stop the flying V. And in Mighty Ducks,
yeah, because you can't. I don't actually know why you can't, but.
Because you never know where the puck's going to be. They're passing it so much, I think, was the idea. Anyway, so in Mighty Ducks 2, they were playing this team from Iceland, and the Icelandic team just, like, also gets into a flying V and just rams into them. And that is what I thought of here. Like, they have this, like, weird, crazy technique, and then the other team just does it back at them, and they completely collapse.
Okay, so, like, they go down.
D2
like, the
rules
ninja, the Kakurangers lose, and then the scene is over. So I guess they just run away or something. So the next scene is in the dojo.
Yes.
And it's like Master Daigoro and his wife and kid and then like the 3 soccer boys, and they're all like doing like practice ninjutsu. And then they change. And the old man ninja master is Sarugami. they tricked the Rangers. Like, this whole thing was a work. Like, this whole thing was one giant, like, setup so that the Rangers would demonstrate their secret techniques and Sarugami could learn them and then use them on the Rangers. Mom, kid, soccer team, they're all Dorodoros.
And I love
this is incredible.
And I love it because, like, if you look back to the beginning of the episode, like, this guy's sob story is so over the top that, like, while I was watching it, I thought, like, there's no way that, like, all of these bad things could be happening to this dude at the same time. This is absurd. And then I thought, oh, no. Like, it's a Super Sentai show. This guy's just having a bad day.
Right,
and, like, that's how they chose to do it. Like, no, it was over the top. It was, like, this really exaggerated sob story to draw them in.
I love that the soccer kids themselves are, like, part of it.
That
like,
was the best
whole
part.
thing. The whole thing is like a plant. Like, they were there to make fun of him, so Saizo shows up and feels bad, blah, blah, blah. The kids insist that soccer... See, this is... And I really love that the soccer kids are in on it because it provides an explanation as to why a young child would be like, ninjutsu is lame. Soccer is way cooler. So... I like that they close that little, like, narrative plot hole for me. And then for reasons that don't totally make sense, Saizo is in the roof.
Jiraiya, I think, actually is in the roof.
Oh, okay, sorry. Jiraiya is in the roof of the dojo, like, spying on them. Maybe he was showing up to, like, demonstrate some ninjutsu. Like, he was going to drop out of the ceiling and just be like, guys, check it out. This is what you can do if you learn ninjutsu. I don't know why I said it like that. That was a weird emphasis.
Well, I think that maybe he had been there to, like, check in on them because, like, Young Noble Jr. is there. And at first, actually, like, before they had transformed, I thought that Young Noble Jr. was there to, like, terrorize this, like, family and new students.
So Jiraiya's like, oh man, I better, like, jump in and help. Yes, that actually makes a ton of sense.
So, like, he makes a little bit of noise, like, so somebody hears them. Sarugami, like, turns around and throws, like, just whips a shuriken, like, up in, like, through the not the floorboards, what's the opposite of a floorboard? A roof board?
A joist.
Into the attic. And, like, Jiraiya barely manages to avoid it, and then just makes, like, a little squeaky sound so that everyone thinks that it was just a mouse up there.
Yeah, they're like, oh, it was a mouse. I was like, I don't think that's a mouse sound, but
it's probably whatever. A mouse. Let's not double check.
Right. So it's not like our enemies are ninjas who are super sneaky. So we go back to Nekomaru and Young Noble Jr. is like, this is amazing. You guys did a great job. Hearty handshakes all over. He does. He gives everybody a handshake. Because Young Noble Jr. is a leader that believes in, like, connecting with his workforce, I guess. So the next scene is back at Nekomaru, and Saizo is flipping out.
He's, like, taking all the banners that they had hung up earlier that day, and he's, like, smashing them and throwing to the ground and shouting about, like, how dare you betray me? Like, I trusted you. I wanted to help you. Saizo is not dealing with this news well.
Yeah, and then Jiraiya makes a quote-unquote joke. Like, he just says something, and he sings a little song, and then somebody says, this is no time for jokes, Jiraiya, so I have no idea what's going on there.
It must be a cultural thing that we're not getting.
Yeah, no, it has to be. So, they're like, all right, though, hold up. We're ninjas. We're ninjas. Yes, we got tricked. That does not actually look great for us, but we're ninjas. We are also very tricky. Here's what we're going to do. And then it sort of cuts away. And then we go back to the dojo, and the Rangers walk into Kasumi-style ninjutsu dojo, and they're all, like, bandaged up and beat up and, like, all of this stuff. And they are now pretending that they don't know that Daigoro is Sarugami.
Yeah, because as they're walking up, like, one of the Dorodoros is looking out the window and says, like, oh, like, they're coming. We need to turn back into our human form. So by the time they arrive, they're all back to human form. Kakurangers wander in. They're like, guys, you have to help us. We got caught by this monkey yokai and these Dorodoros. They knew all of our moves. They even knew Kakuranger Ball. We need to develop a new secret technique. And, like, you're a master ninja. We need your help to do it.
Yes. And so Daigoro / Sarugami is just like, oh yeah, guys, totally. Like, I will 100% help you with this new thing. Like, I'm absolutely down. This is going to be amazing.
Young Noble Jr., by the way, is like still in the dojo and like hiding behind a corner, and he is loving this. He's like, everything is coming up, Surugami.
There was this amazing moment where when they're all turning back into their human forms, the mom has to like run and get back into bed. So they go out to the quarry, and the Rangers are like, all right, dude, here's the deal. We have developed a new and more powerful version of Kakuranger Ball. But what it is, here's the deal. We need a sixth person, okay? We need a sixth person. Master Daigoro, you're a Master Ninja. Like, you're going to be the sixth dude. So what's going to happen, and it's going to be like 10 times more powerful than the old Kakuranger Ball, and just how it works is that, like, we pass it back and forth, and then, like, the last person who kicks it, like, he's stored up all of his chi power, and he, like, dominates this ball, and, like, it's super duper powerful. Here's how we're going to do it. And so they're like, first of all, you've got to do this dance. Like, this is how you're going to build up power for the kick. Let us show you. And so Saizo starts doing like a little dance, and the other Rangers are behind him as like a backup chorus.
Well, they're doing
singing about
the
being
soccer
the champions,
chant, like the Ole 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 one, the one that is also the Sami Zayn chant, which I know that it, like, all across the world it is a soccer thing, but in my head it is first and foremost a chant for Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to apologize for that.
Dude, people use the Ole Ole for like weird. People do it at concerts for reasons I don't understand. Like when they are calling for an encore. I don't know. It's very weird. And it's kind of also awful to listen to. Anyways, so like they're doing Ole Ole Ole, and they're singing about like being champs and being the champions, and Saizo is like doing this little dance, right? And then they're like, all right, so here's the deal. You start doing the dance. So Master Daigoro starts doing the dance, and if you thought it looked funny when Saizo did it, it is extra funny when an older Japanese gentleman does it in like full ninja gear.
By the way, Daigoro has a mustache, which like gives him an extra air of sort of like seriousness and gravitas, and so like when he is doing this dance, it looks even more ridiculous.
Which I love, because it's the entire point of doing, like, this is why they're doing this. Like, the point is to make this dude look ridiculous. And a man in his position cannot afford to be made to look ridiculous. Thank you. Anyways, so they get him dancing, and they start doing Kakuranger Ball. So, like, they pass. They kick it over to Daigoro. He does, like, the flying backflip, kicks the ball, it like explodes, it's super crazy, and everyone's just like, yeah, that was amazing, great job, team, like that was our sixth, that we did it, we're going to be able to defeat the evil Surugami now.
And then Daigoro starts cracking up. He's like, ha, you fools, I am the evil Surugami. And like he transforms, and all of like the soccer kids and his wife and daughter all transform. Like, now we've learned your new secret technique, and now we're definitely going to send you straight to hell.
Right. So the Rangers are just like, all right, well, let's see about that. So they henge. They do like a little bit of fighting, but they basically launch directly into Kakuranger Ball.
Right, and at this point, the same thing happens as happened before. They start to do Kakuranger Ball. One of the Dorodoros like hops in the way, grabs the ball, and they say, now it's time. We're going to do like the super secret technique. And you're going to get totally wrecked, and it's going to be the best. And so they start doing this super secret technique. Surugami starts doing his like crazy little dance. It gets to him. He jumps up. He does the Pele kick. He shoots it straight towards Saizo. But, of course, Saizo knows this is coming because they've been planning for it.
Right. So Saizo basically just jumps up and kicks it back, which it seems like they probably could have just done the first time, but whatever. I
don't know. Maybe the idea is that like having him do like that sort of backwards Pele kick, like had him turned around so he wouldn't be able to like reposition himself in time to return the kick.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if that's actually what they were going for, but it makes a kind of sense. Oh, by the way, the idea behind the Kakuranger ball is that every time that the ball gets kicked, it doubles in power. So the idea behind adding a sixth person is that it was going to like make the shot more powerful. So now when they've done this, they've gotten, like all six of, you've got the yokai and all 4 or 5 of those Dorodos doing it, but then you also have Saizo doing it back to them. So it is like redoubled in power. So when it hits them, it goes off like a bomb, which it is. It's a bomb.
Yeah. So he's like, how did you do that? What's going on? Like, he's very upset. And the Rangers is just like, dude, we tricked you. Like, you
get dunked.
Get dunked. Like, you tricked us, we tricked you. This is it. Sasuke does say the words, "We are legitimate monkeys of the Sarutobi," which,
yeah, I did. Like,
I would just love to understand what that
at some
means.
Point, but I have no idea what he means.
Oh, here it is. Sorry, Matt. Sarutobi is Sasuke's family name. Like, his name is Sarutobi Sasuke. Like, and that is the famous ninja that he is descended from.
Oh,
and
okay.
his whole thing, I just looked it up. Sarutobi Sasuke's whole thing is that he is a monkey-like ninja, which explains why Sasuke has like Saruto and all this stuff.
It does not explain why this is a Saizo episode and not a Sasuke episode.
It does not. That is very weird, but it does at least explain. He's basically throwing out. He's just like, we are the real like ninja monkeys, I guess.
Right.
So Sarigami's like, all right, fine, giantism. Here's the deal. So he goes giant. They summon the Jusho fighters.
By the way,
they fight for a little bit.
Another new song.
Yes, I was just gonna say the Jusho fighters have their own theme song now. For again, why not? Why not? Everybody else is getting in on the game. Get yourself a theme song, Jusho fighters. The fight here is actually like it's really cool choreography because Sarutobi is a monkey. He does do a lot of like jumping around and flipping and like kind of monkey style antics. Seikai like tries to throw him, but he like flips in midair and lands on his feet because he's actually like a monkey. It's pretty cool.
They end up beating him with the Fighter Crush, and I don't know. It's been a while since we've seen Fighter Crush, but Fighter Crush is the finishing move when it's just the fighters who are out, when they're not calling Miteki Shogun, which is where 4 of them all get together to kind of throw the 5th one at the monster. And the one that gets thrown like fastball special style turns into like a big energy fireball, blasts through the dude, and then that dude is dead 100% immediately.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I thought it was also super cool because normally it's Red Saruto who does it, but this time it is, I can't remember the blue one's name.
Blue Logan.
But it's Blue Logan, thank you. This time basically it's Saizo. Saizo does it. And I thought it was cool. It's like, I guess anybody can do it. Like, it's not specifically like a Sasuke move, which is pretty rad.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
So,
it was a nice touch.
Yeah, so then Sarigami dies. He's dead. He joins like the energy cloud. And then we go to a playground. And the kids all run up. And they're just like, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Please teach us ninjutsu. Which I was glad to see because that's a reasonable reaction that a child would have upon learning that they can learn actual ninjutsu from actual like superhero magic ninjas.
Right. And then Saizo also has a very reasonable reaction, which is like, you are humans, right? Like, just double checking before we teach you ninjutsu. Like, are you humans?
I was just that. And Tsuruhime's like, dude, Saizo. Oh, okay, yes. Because Tsuruhime then says, yeah, no, dude, they're people. It's cool, Saizo. And then there's a little like G.I. Joe style, like the more you know. So they're like, well, the first thing you have to do is get physically fit. And then they start like running around with the kids. And everybody else is like running, jumping, climbing trees, except Tsuruhime, who is just on like a tire swing with a little kid.
Yeah, I think they were like, oh, before we can learn ninjutsu, you need to like, work out and get strong. And they just use that as an excuse to like, chill with these kids and play on a playground with them.
Yeah, it is rad.
They have learned their lesson, and they're not jumping straight to teaching this like the local children how to murder someone with an energy blast.
Yeah, that, in retrospect, is enormously irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they were pulling out all the stops. They needed to save that dojo, Dave.
They sure did. So, Matt.
Oh, by the way,
where
before we get to the Creature Royale, which I'm excited to do,
I was going to say I really had already started in on my approach. You heard my inflection.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Sure. What were you? Sure. No, Matt, go ahead.
Well,
say your thing.
There was a narrator bit at the end. It cuts to the narrator, and he says, because apparently they've decided that this is the episode with which they're going to start putting in like a very explicit, like, this is the moral of the episode. He says, so now you know you should never just like monkey mimic people. And that, like, I don't know, like, sure, like, that's a good lesson to have. It does seem weird to 21 episodes in just start throwing in, like, and here was the moral of the episode.
And then the riddle for this week is, what's the bread an old man loves? I don't...
Did you watch through the credits to find out what it was?
Yeah, I did. It's jeans pants. I think that has to be like... Yeah, it's got to be like, because I think they said like old man is G and pan is Japanese for bread. I think it's like, yeah, it's a pun. It's not a good one, but it is certainly a pun. So where, Matt?
Yeah, I think that they have started to put those riddles in, or like quizzes in at the end, and they realize that they did not like leave themselves something to like make a quiz about this time, so they just threw in a riddle. Like, well, we've started doing this stupid thing, and now we're stuck doing it every week, and I don't know how to handle it this week.
So, Matt, where on the Creature Royale do we put Saragami?
I don't know. How's number 30?
Where does he go?
Sorry, I should actually look at the list before I just throw a number out. What is it, number 30?
You're not actually bad. Slot number 30 is in between Slot Machine Monster Kanagama, which is the slot machine, and Bakanaku, which is the crazy cat lady.
Okay. Well, let's just... I said it at random, but let's use that as a starting off point. How do you feel that he compares to specifically Bakanaku? Because that's another one from this show.
Yeah, his look is rad. He's got like a whole giant plot, which works super, super well. He's like a rad ninja monkey who like steals their own techniques and turns them back on him. Like, I think Saragami is actually really cool. And he's got sweet sunglasses.
So actually, taking the sunglasses into account, let's jump up a few spaces.
Yeah, better than Oboro Gumura, the taxi monster?
Yeah, dude, I think he's better than Oboro Gumura.
Okay. Better than the Shuten Doji brothers.
I mean, listen, I got a soft spot for brothers doing a thing, but
I think he might be.
I think it might be cooler.
Is he cooler than Iron Mask Choryu?
Ooh.
I think not quite.
No, maybe not quite as cool as Iron Mask Choryu. Every time somebody goes above Iron Mask Choryu, you've really got to stop and think about Iron Mask Choryu. And he is sort of like the guardian of the top third of our list.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a sports term for that. But yeah, like Iron Mask Choryu is actually like pretty friggin' cool. So there he is, man. Saragami comes in at slot number 18 on the Creature Royale.
Right on. Well, that, Dave, having completed all of our weekly segments, is going to do it for another episode of A View to a Kakuranger. Before we finish up here, I'd like to remind you all you can email the show at supersentaibrothers@gmail.com. You want to get any updates on future episodes, or if you want to check out the things we're talking about on Twitter, we are at Super Sentai Bros. If you like the show, please remember, shining in the iTunes review section, there are 5 stars. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. That's just going to help new people find the show. We have been stuck at 29 ratings for a very long time. It would be nice for me, personally, to see that go to 30, just because it's a round number, and it's been bothering me since, I think, October. So just do me a solid.
But thanks very much to all of you who have reviewed the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, really, really appreciate it, guys. That is very cool of you to do. Super Sentai Brothers are a production of Retrograde Orbit Radio. We are the Super Sentai Brothers. I'm Matt.
I'm Dave.
And we'll see you next week for the greatest show on Earth.